guys, tonight for dessert we're going to have German apple cake. It's a very, very old recipe. It was given to me by a childhood friend, probably when I was around 11. And the little story behind this recipe was that it was her mom's great-grandmother's. And have you ever known someone that they don't like to share the recipes? Well, that was the case. And so she had snuck and gave me this recipe. And after that, they had moved, and I think the first 2 nights into their move, everything they owned got stolen. So it was kind of a blessing that I had the recipe and that I could share it with them. And so today I'm going to share it with you because I don't keep recipes secret. So it's a really good cake. It's a good cake with coffee in the morning. It's a good cake with a big glass of milk. So we'll just jump right into it and I'll show you. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your sugar and you're going to put it in the bowl, and let's see, it's 1 cup of white sugar, and then you're going to take 1 cup of brown sugar. Now when you use brown sugar, you want to pack it good and tight, because if you don't, if you just scoop it, then you're not going to end up with the right amount. So once you get your sugars in there, you're going to take 2 eggs. If your eggs are kind of small, you might want to use 3. So you get your eggs in there, and then we're going to put this on and we're going to cream it all together real good. And my mixer is going to be a little loud for a while here. Now you're going to cook this in a 9x13 pan. So you're going to want to grease and flour that and have it already waiting. And then to that you're going to want to take and you're going to use a 1/2 cup of shortening. If you don't have 1/2 cup of shortening, you can use a 1/2 cup of oleo. And for you that don't know what oleo is, if you ever see it on recipes, sometimes you'll see it on the older ones. All it really is, it's margarine. So you can use margarine or you can use the shortening. And then you're just going to mix that up until it's incorporated really good. And then what you're going to do is you're going to need probably 2 or 3 apples. You're going to need 2 cups of chopped apples. These are pretty good sized pieces right here. If you don't like big chunks of apple, you can cut it a little bit smaller. So you're going to have that already cut up and kind of put to the side, because that's actually like the last thing you're going to put in it. Now, I have my KitchenAid, and if you have a KitchenAid, this little attachment right here, it is excellent, especially if you make a lot of cakes. If you do a lot of icings, I used to do wedding cakes and big cakes like that, and I used a lot of powdered sugar. This little chute, it is just the doings because it doesn't go flying everywhere. So I've got this in here. So in my bowl, I've got 2 1/2 cups of flour. I've got 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and then I've got 1 1/2 tablespoon of cinnamon and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now I've already got that in there, and I've took my little whisk and I've stirred it up real good to get everything in there good. And so then what you're going to do is you're going to need 1 cup of buttermilk. If you don't have buttermilk, you can just take 1 cup of sweet milk, which is just your regular like 2%, or whole milk, whichever one you want, and put 1 tablespoon of vinegar in it. Now I'll do that when I'm making biscuits and stuff, but actually for this cake, I'd just rather use actual buttermilk. So you're going to have that sitting there, and what you're going to do is you're going to alternate it back and forth. You're going to put some of your dry ingredients, and then you're going to put a little bit of your buttermilk until you get it good and smooth. So we'll just start that right now. If you turn your mixer up too high, your flour is going to go flying everywhere. So I just take and put it in a little bit at a time. You're going to put like maybe about 1/4 of your flour, and then you're just going to take and put a little bit of your buttermilk in. Just so that you go back and forth with it. I'm going to drop this down for a minute because I want to get the rest of my buttermilk out of here. There actually will be quite a bit in there because it's thick. I'm probably blocking it right now, but all I'm doing is just scraping this out of the cup. I'm just trying to get all of it in there. Now your batter is going to be, it's going to be a little bit thick. Let's get this flour down off of there. And if you have a KitchenAid, the spatula with the rubber on the side is so good because it gets it down off of the edges for you. I would highly recommend it that you would try it if you have a KitchenAid. So you're just going to turn it back on and let it finish mixing in real good. While that's mixing, turn this down. What you're going to do is you're going to need 1/4 cup of brown sugar, and you're going to pack it just like you did the other. And then you're going to use 1/4 cup of white sugar, and you're going to use 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. You're just going to put it in your bowl and just mix it around until you get it stirred up real good. So then you're going to set that to the side. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our apples in. You can fold these in if you want. I'm just going to do it with my mixer. I've got a 9x13, and I've already used Baker's Joy on it. If you use Baker's Joy, you will love it. Used to when I did wedding cakes and things, my sister-in-law did too, and so she had told me, oh, you have to try it because your cake comes out, it will just turn out perfect every time. It won't stick on you. I've never had one stick using Baker's Joy. But if you don't have Baker's Joy, just rub a little shortening on it and then dust it with your flour. So then here's your batter. Now your batter is going to be it's going to be thick on this. Seems like most of your old-fashioned cakes, they are. It's not like cake mix. Try to get a lot of that off of there. Now you're going to have your oven set to 325. Give your batter a stir. Make sure everything's incorporated really good. That you got your apples mixed in good. And then you're just going to put it in your pan. This cake is really good when it's warm out of the oven. Okay, now, and this would be why my son gave me the title OCDIY. Try to get it all out of there. Okay, now just take and smooth your batter down. Push it out into the corners and just try to get it nice and even in there. And then you're going to want to bake this for 30 minutes on 325, but that might vary depending on where you live with your altitude. It might vary on how hot your oven is. There's not too many cakes you cook on 325, but this is definitely one of them. And then you're going to take your topping and you're just going to take your spoon and just sprinkle it on the top. And don't worry about not having enough. I've never run out of this. You know, some recipes they give you a topping and you got to be really careful because you get it on half of it and realize you don't really have enough. So I just get it all over the top, and then I kind of just work my way around the edges. And as you can see, I'm being very generous with it, and I'm not having a problem with not having enough of it. So you have it all on there. I've got it all covered really good. If you didn't, you can kind of take your spoon and move it around a little. And then I'm just going to give it a little bit of a shake. And when you're baking cakes, if you give it just a little bit of a shake, and I'm not going to bang this one much because it's glass, but it helps get the air bubbles out. So we'll just take that and then we'll pop it in the oven. And we'll let it cook for 30 minutes, and then you're going to put a toothpick in and see if it comes out clean. And if it does, then you'll know that it's done. So I already have one made, and I'm just going to go in, get a slice of it out, and there you have it right there. So my son's my cameraman, so we'll let Cody J tell us what he thinks of this cake. Have a try, Cody. Well, I guess he's got to get him a fork.
Perfect as expected.
Well, there you have it. And let me tell you, he is like the food critique. He will tell you if he doesn't like it. So give this cake a try. I think that you'll just really, really enjoy it. So Have a great day.